Good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the country, around the world. Welcome back to the Kerbal Space program. We are, obviously, back at the Kerbal Space Center. A little bit of upkeep and whatnot was required lately. I have something in orbit that I'm going to show you in a moment. It's going to be one of the last two arms for the Space Station Arcadia. But it's very busy. To upload it, I actually had to upgrade the vehicle assembly building so that I had an unlimited amount of parts. Otherwise, just the core part, not even the launcher, not even the shield, not even like the other bits, it maxed out the part number. So I had to do a few missions. I've actually sent, we'll take a look. I've actually sent 2 empty space stations up into solar orbits. Yeah, these guys are actually up here totally empty. There's nobody there. They're very similar to the expansion I lobbed onto the moon space station. But they each got me, I think, they cost about 300,000 to launch. And I got 800,000. So plus 5, it put us back up at a nice level. I kind of wanted to do that. Well, one, and then, second one, same thing. It was almost the same exact contract. So I did that twice to flesh out our cash reserves, so that we could upgrade the space center, the vehicle assembly building, I should say, and launch that guy up into space. Yes. Why did I come back here? I'm not entirely sure. Let's go actually up to the piece I have in orbit. It was a probe, unfortunately. It's empty still. It should be... Oh no, there it is. Yes. So it is in orbit. It's in a lower orbit than the Arcadia, and that's an eccentric orbit too. We'll have to correct that. But I can do all that off camera. But we are going to take a look at it. Alright, now that it finally loaded, we are in orbit with what is going to be one of the docking arms for the space station. I got a lot of it underneath the fairing. Not all of it, but a lot of it was underneath the fairing. There was a good chunk of it that doesn't fit, just because it's big, it's huge, and it's cumbersome and funny looking. It's not necessarily pretty. It's not like, really, when I think of science fiction and space docks and things, this isn't exactly what I think of, but it's something close. It gets the idea across. And for the early Kerbal Space Kerbal Space program, before they really refine things, they can deal with this. So we'll take a look at that first. That's back here. So imagine, that this part's not here. And this is up. This is the top. I can't rotate the camera that way. But I can rotate the ship that way. Nope, that way. So yeah, this squared off octagonal-ish section is the space dock. There's actually a docking port at the very tip of that there. Whoa. Come on, all the way around. There you go. So there's actually a docking port at the very tip there to kind of aim for. We got a little control cupola here for, docking control to watch what's going on. These are from the same team that made the Kerbal Max that makes the... How does it say it? That makes the stock-alike station parts. I picked them because I think I can do it. Extend. Yeah, the docking arms extend out really well compared to the other things. They extend out pretty far. Okay, let's stop with the weeble wobble. So I like that. We got one on each side and one on the bottom. So that's a cool thing to kind of pull into this little docking port and sidle over to that. Close. And then, of course, we have up here, I added... Ooh, oh, come on. Sun's in the way. I added the... Whoa. It keeps wanting to click on other things. We added the grabbing unit, so that in case I need to, if there's a damaged vessel, we can just clip it on there. I think it's a cool looking aspect to add to any little space dock, spaceport thing. So it's not quite what I had initially imagined, but given the parts we have, it's what I built. I think I saw somebody else build something with like the B9 parts, those airframe parts that are a little, I don't know, sleeker or something. Wow, why are you wobbling so much? That's not fun. Stop. Okay. All right. And ooh, are we still getting solar power? We're using up solar power. That's okay, because we're gonna we're gonna get into the sunlight soon. But let's reveal the other part. This is a part that I think is neat. I'm kind of proud of, and I don't think, personally, I haven't seen anybody else do something quite like this. Not to this extent. I've seen some other small versions where there's like a one-off, but not to where there's a whole string of these. So let's reveal this. Deploy. Poof. And we can also go ahead and decouple, get rid of that part up there. Because we don't need it anymore. We don't need any streamlining. So this part here, actually, let me go ahead and aim the camera. This part here is obviously the the arm going out from the space station to the docking port itself. These are escape pods. 8 one-man escape pods and 2 3-man escape pods. Because in Star Wars science fiction, in what I'm thinking of like Serenity, and any kind of science fiction, any station, any ship has escape pods for you to evacuate into in case something is going catastrophically wrong. You make way to the escape pods, pop your way off, and hopefully get back home. They all have a little bit of fuel in them and some little twitch engines, just enough to get into the atmosphere and come back down. And I did test both designs, both the 3-man and the 2-man, so everything works just fine for getting back into getting home. Yeah, so that is the docking arm, or well, one of the 2 docking arms. Both of these are going to have the escape pod kind of extending arm, the escape pod core there to it. The other docking part for the other one is going to be different and simpler, much simpler. It's getting all these guys in place, and they're not even like square and perfect, but I think they're decent. It's enough to give you the suggestion that, oh, we're going to dock something in here, and if we need to, we can close it up and atmospherize, charge. We can put atmosphere in that area to work on something in an actual dry dock. Yeah, I've seen others that are like this kind of design, but much longer. This was so tedious to get to, just like this, and it was so big already. I figured this is enough. This is big enough, and it's given the ships that we have at Kerbal Space Program with a what's it called? If we like, say we send up a space plane. Let's just aim the camera back here now. We send up a space plane, and it has the Mark II nose, and then behind that it has the docking port. That's plenty of space here for it to sit in. The nose will only extend to like here. Plenty of space for it to get into and lock onto that, and it's just fine. And even though this is the quote top in space, there's no there doesn't need to be an up and a down. So yeah, that is the docking port arm, the space dock arm I'm calling it. Again, not the prettiest thing, but it works. And yeah, this is the DC Redstone rocket was what was used, plus this extra one. I just honestly to give us a little extra fuel because this was really heavy. I actually had to do the DC Redstone plus 2 more of the big ones, so it's like the DC Redstone rocket heavy. But this was mostly to extend it, because otherwise this up here, everything would just clip together and it wouldn't work. So that gave us the required depth and the extra fuel. We'll have plenty of fuel to get docked to the space station Arcadia now, which is that's us. That's the space station Arcadia. So that is the target. Yeah, we're a few orbits away from intercepting, and where our orbits are. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll fine tune the orbits, tweak it around, and I'll create the encounter and rendezvous and whatnot. We're actually able to go like straight in. I designed it that way instead of the opposite way, just because it would be easier, because this is already getting cumbersome, and the Arcadia space station is getting so huge, it's not, the frame rate is dropping. Although somebody's suggestion on the comments was turn the lights off, and I just turned off these lights, and that did help. It did help the frame rate a little bit, and I could manually go through and click all of these guys to on and off, and I might later, if the frame rate is that bad, I might do that too, but that'll be off camera. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna create that encounter now, get it docked. I'll see you guys once it is docked at the space station Arcadia. And here we are, finally, eventually for me, in orbit. At the space station in orbit, with the space dock arm finally attached. That was cumbersome, very hard, and I kind of failed. I didn't pack any extra batteries or anything on with this, so I was constantly struggling to like, no, keep the solar panels pointed toward the sun. And as you can see, I didn't put the solar panels on this guy like the other arms have. But given that it's kind of that big, giant, crazy utility arm, I figured like, that's okay. Plus, they'd be really at a weird place, maybe. Well, maybe they'd be back here. Maybe I will attach them here. Here. No, they just be in the way of the space dock. Although the other one will be different. So I might, or I might not. But there she is. The space dock is in place. And she actually lined up and straight at 90 degrees pretty well. It was, like I said, a struggle to maneuver and handle. And I think because of the way I offset this piece here, it threw off things. It threw off the center of mass a little bit. I had to come in and try the docking a few times because it kept wanting to, it kept wanting to point the center of this at the bottom of this. It was kind of weird. But it all worked out. It's all here. Yeah, we got 5 of the 6 arms attached to the Kerbal Space Station Arcadia. Yeah, the frame rate's okay. The world time, if you will, is about 1 game second for every 2 seconds of the real world. So it's a little off. It is. It's not the end of the world, though. F1, is that? Oh, F2 hides it. I think F1 takes a screenshot. So there's so far what we have. Like I said, 1 more arm. We'll put that on here at the end of this episode. Yeah. Unfortunately, because the frame rate is so low, I think my future hopes and plans for this, to put resourcing on here, or dock this with an asteroid, or who knows what, I don't know if that's going to be doable. I think I'll leave scientists on here and process science for a while. I mean, they're on here, and they have enough science to partially fill up 1 science lab. Oh, right. Controls. Yeah. So they've built up some, but they don't have a full set of data. So hopefully soon we'll be getting more data from somewhere. Although this might be the last episode from me for a while, because I'm recording this on Monday, publishing this on Wednesday, and I'm going to assume that I'm going to be busy playing Planet Coaster on Wednesday. So there you have it. The first arm is docked. Well, the first of the 2 docking arms has been locked in place. The escape pods and whatnot ready to go in case of catastrophe. Some point maybe I'll dock a vessel up here just for funsies. Yeah, but I don't. Given the reduced frame rate, I really don't think so. Lights. Yeah, that makes things a little bit worse. So we'll just have those off. We can have all these on. That's not the end of the world, but the frame rate is a little bit low. All right, so now I have to design the other docking arm, which will be, like I said, different design. This one is more in case they really need like a dry dock or something crazy like that. The other one is going to be more easy access on some like spokes coming out of there. Yes, but I will get back to that, and I will see you back in space for that reveal in just a bit. And here we are in space once again with the final piece of the Space Station Arcadia. This is going to be another docking arm type of thing, a little bit simpler than the last one. I'll just go ahead and show the new part. That's it. It's just kind of a cross. One of these guys. One of the shorter ones is up and down. The longer ones are side to side. But it's got, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 docking port standards, 2 docking port juniors, just in case you have a smaller vessel dock. Service all of your docking needs. And the rest, part underneath the fairing, should look very familiar. Yeah, it's just the escape pod section again. And we can also go ahead and just decouple. Poof, goodbye. Yeah. Oh, I did attach solar panels to this one, though. We're going to go ahead and extend those, because, like I said, the docking port the docking station bit, that was... I was struggling with the power. I mean, there's no batteries on this, aside from the internal power on all of the command modules. And a probe core. So yeah, it's... But we got the big solar panel, so things should be a little bit easier. Hopefully this guy's okay to manage. I did neglect to put a probe core on this guy, but I think once we get close enough to where we're doing the fine-tuned stuff, we'll just drop this. Transfer as much of the... Oh, monopropellant. Well, transfer as much monopropellant as we... No, we can't. We have to keep the monopropellant. So we'll dock with this whole engine attached. We'll make it work. It's going to be okay. Let's see. We have launched, a bit ahead, and we're in a slightly lower orbit, so we're going to have to time warp away until we get an encounter. Yeah. But that's not the end of the world. Yep. Set as target, and we're a little bit off, right? We got 0.4 degrees. That's not too bad. But yeah, if we, we're low enough that I can only time warp so fast, and yeah, that's going to take forever for us to go around and actually catch up to it. I might even drop the apoapsis. I think I shall. Let's stoop. No, retrograde the other way. We're going to let it oh so slowly turn to retrograde. Actually, you know what? Stop. You're just going to waste monopropellant doing that there when it has a good chance of rotating over to retrograde. Yes! It'll be much closer. Oh, it's halfway closer. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah. Like I said, we can drop our apoapsis down to about, closer to 100, I think. That'll help us spin around orbit a bit faster. There we go. So yeah, now we just got to jump out to this space center and advance time. This will be the last segment for this episode, the last episode for a while, I think, for the Kerbal Space program. So I'm actually going to show the final docking maneuver. At least I'm going to try. If it goes badly, I can time warp it and time warp it and talk over it. We'll see what happens there. But I'll see you in space again as we're doing our final approach to the Space Station Arcadia. And here we are on the final approach for the final docking for the final piece for the Kerbal Space Station Arcadia. As you can tell, the frame rate is pretty low and the game time is running, about 3 seconds in the real world to 1 second in the game. Oh, no, that way. And yeah, I have the docking port alignment indicator here. Honestly, I'm mostly using it just for the degrees so that I can get things lined up square. The station is obviously at an angle, which makes things a little more interesting, but it's not the end of the world. The space station, I tried to get it to level out, it just didn't want to, so we're twisted to it, but that's okay. We will make it work. Come on, line yourselves up, buddy. I think at this point, as long as I get the yellow on top of the purple there, we should drift right into place. And then as long as the degrees stay pretty close, we should be good. Of course, it's going to drift a bit here and there. We're closing at 0.5 meters per second. We're gonna slow that down a bit. And then, yay! Thanks for the camera aim camera function, I should say, that makes these maneuvers way easier. Instead of kind of judging from the back, from the center of mass of the vehicle, now you really have a good indicator. Or you really have a better, not a good indicator, but a better line of sight, I would say. Okay, let's slow it down a little more. Everything's nice and lined up. There we go. Okay, so it was a little non-optimal for the degrees. Oh, geez. Frame. Very slow. But all in all, it's there. Yeah, you have to look really closely to tell that it's off. It's really not too bad at all. Hoi, so now a little bit of housekeeping. Transfer whatever monopropellant we have left into someplace else. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, after a little bit of station keeping business and whatnot, a little bit of cleanup here and there, we have a completed space station. The Space Station Arcadia is complete. Isn't she a beauty? Even though she's probably going to be nearly unusable because things move so slowly here. Unfortunately, tactical error on my part, my entire Kerbal team is on this space station. There's nobody down at Mission Control, or at least no pilot, scientists, or engineers. So I will have to fly something up here and possibly dock, maybe not. I was having trouble for a minute or two, actually for quite a few minutes, getting this thing, being able to do anything. It wasn't letting me, yeah, see, I'm right-clicking. Ah! So it's like you gotta get one and lock it open, and then you can do other things. Otherwise, and even then it doesn't always work. Right, double-click? There you go, a double right-click. Oh, that does the camera thing. But it'll bring this up so you can play with things. So yeah, there she is, the Kerbal Space Station Arcadia, complete. Give a bit of a tour again. We've got our habitation arm here, plenty of space for all the Kerbals, lots of sleeping quarters, exercise quarters, command quarter or whatever. The command core with the command station, another observation window. The distributor core is probably the main powerhouse, power plant, storage, things like that. 2 science cores, each with 2 science pods, science labs, mobile processing labs each, and probably a communication center here. That's why the big satellites are there and there. This is kind of how I envision it and imagine it. And then, of course, our space dock with all the docking ports and the grabber arm and a tiny radio to help with that. The utility arm, which is really just storage, and I mean there's still lots of space to store other things in, and like I said, eventually maybe dock on some other bits, but I kind of doubt it. This thing's already busy enough. And finally, the other simple docking arm, which is really easy for things to just sidle up to one way or the other, or like space planes just come and dock up there or there or there. I kind of like the up and down a little better. It just looks cooler. And lots of escape pods. I think we have enough capacity for, oh gosh, 6 plus 8 is 14, times 2 is 28. So, enough for 28 Kerbals to escape. And I don't think we have nearly that many on board. I think I only have like 16 Kerbals altogether. So we have plenty of escape pods for everyone. At this point, honestly, because this is so laggy, I just might pop them all into the escape pods and send them home that way. Because I'm really worried, not scared, maybe a little scared, but I'm worried that if I try to send up a space plane or something to come and pick them up, it's going to dock, and then I'm going to be never going to be able to undock again. I was actually having trouble getting, trying to get the last piece, the engine piece, undocked from here. I eventually got it to work. And I think I want to move this guy. Yeah, I can undock this one. Cool. But I wanted to undock this one and stick him all over on the utility arm. But there you have it, the completed Space Station Arcadia. Isn't she a beauty? That'll be it for a little while. I know the Planet Coaster beta drops, I'm recording this segment on Tuesday. Planet Coaster beta drops tomorrow, when this should be published. So, yeah, I'll be doing some Planet Coaster stuff with the beta first, before I come back to Kerbal Space Program. Either way, if you like it, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, pass the word. I will catch you later.